Next, the debate's getting the most buzz online today, and one of the most discussed stories is the sale of Michael Jackson's image and merchandising rights. The executors of the late singer's estate have already done a deal today on a movie using rehearsal footage of his comeback tour. They're expected to finalise a merchandise deal worth £10,000 any minute now. Well as traditional merchandise like T-shirts, it could include internet games, mobile phone apps, and even 3D Michael Jackson avatars. Well, joining us here in the studio, branding expert Jonathan Gabay. Is that how you pronounce it?
It is.
Good, I got it right. And Roberto, who's a DJ from London radio station Capital FM. Jonathan, first of all, good evening to you both, by the way. First of all, they're saying this could be worth $20 million a year in merchandising. Is it a case that Michael Jackson's worth more dead than alive?
Oh, absolutely. He won't actually be the first one who will actually be worth more dead than alive. The same happened with Elvis Presley.
Sure.
It happened with Heath Ledger in some respect, but of course that's a completely different celebrity.
So where does that money come from? A lot of money, isn't it?
Well, what they're talking about...
It's a lot of tea towels.
Well, it's more than... it's even more exciting than tea towels, because what they're talking about, things like trading card games, they're talking about stuffed animals, there's what you just said, they're talking about video games, computer games, software, that sort of idea. Sky's the limit.
Roberto, I mean, as a music fan, as a Michael Jackson music fan, and I guess that's what people listening to radio stations are into, do they want the merchandise, do you think?
Oh, they want Michael Jackson, everything to do with him. The day after he died on my mid-morning show down here in London on Capital FM, we were inundated with phone calls, texts, emails of people just devastated at the fact he died and wanting to hear more and more of Michael Jackson. And now the merchandising, they're going to absolutely love it.
And do you think he's worth more dead than alive? I mean, do you think
definitely.
But the only thing is that there's something in branding called a brand stretch, where you actually extend the brand. So you say, in this case, we're talking about Michael Jackson's brand, so you have them, as you were talking about the tea towels, the this, the that, and all the rest of it. But the thing is that if you stretch something too much, it kind of snaps.
Yeah.
And so you get that, you can have that happening. Because at the moment, and I was also actually, on a personal point of view, was very upset when he died, okay? But the thing is that people can start becoming a bit cynical about the whole thing. When you're going to get tea towels, golf clubs, I mean, what are you going to get with Michael Jackson?
I mean, is there a point that, Roberto, where the fans, they don't want, there's certain merchandise they don't want to see?
Hardcore fans will always love Michael Jackson. The week after he died, he got to #1 on the Big Talk 40 show, which is controlled by download, so everyone was downloading his songs. And the people who don't love Michael Jackson quite so much, well, they won't go out and buy it. But his fan base globally is huge. Millions of people, and they're the ones that are going to go out and buy these things.
Jonathan, we've got a blog we can bring up, a Harvard Business School blog. It's talking about what made Michael Jackson a brand icon. It says the factors included the early start, age of 4, here it is. The name King of Pop, decision to go solo, and something you were touching on, the fact that he's died relatively young, so his image is kind of frozen, isn't it?
Yeah, because branding is a lot of it is about perception, and so exactly what you've just said, you have this frozen image in time. You know who the most classical one for this sort of idea was? Marilyn Monroe.
Sure.
Because she died relatively young, you always have this, it's like frozen in time. And so I think that that's a little bit of that kind of idea, not to the extent of Marilyn, but a little bit of that idea has happened with the brand of Michael Jackson.
Roberto, TMZ.com, once again blogging these kind of court hearings to this. I mean, the fans are going to be interested in any aspect. But is there a point where a rub comes with the fans, that the kind of merchandising gets a bit tasteless?
It depends which avenue they go down, don't they? I've heard rumours at the moment they're going to do lighters, T-shirts, obviously trading cards.
Stuffed animals.
Stuffed animals, but these stuffed animals are apparently going to play Michael Jackson's hits. Is that a bit too... they're even talking about...
You would have a monkey that plays the hits.
Yeah, exactly, but they're also even talking about digital stuff, like there's... they're talking about having digital tattoos for people who play Second Life.
Yeah.
So everyone can get involved with Michael Jackson whichever way you want to.
Of course, his music is worth more as well. I mean, have you noticed that... I mean, obviously you're playing more on Capital, aren't you, now?
We are.
You didn't play it beforehand, though, did you, really?
You're right, we play the hits for London, that's what we do. And if people want to hear Michael Jackson, if they want to hear that right now, we will play it for them. We still do get requests for him, not as many as we did when he died, but people still want to hear him.
Okay, how much would you say, in terms of from when he died to where we are now, that those requests have gone down? I mean, roughly speaking, percentage-wise.
Oh, it's gone down dramatically, I'll give you that, but there is still a request for his music, but that's because most people have now managed to download the music, so they got him to #1 on the Big Talk 40 show, so they've got the music now, so we don't have to play them quite so much.
They've just done a deal, actually, with the Jacksons about Smile, which was the Charlie Chaplin hit, that now they're actually downloading that on iTunes and stuff like that, so again...
But you could argue he was bigger than the music, wasn't he? That's what made Michael Jackson so interesting to people, not just...
absolutely.
You know, it's the entertainer, but also the kind of controversy of his personal life, but that all funnels into into the brand, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
but Michael Jackson was another thing that has got so boring about these brand stuff. But the thing is, it's another
Oh, we've
thing
got you in here.
No, well, all right, and I'll be boring then. But there's another thing. But there's another thing about Jackson, which is there's something called the brand halo, and it's like this halo around something. And so this kind of mystery about him, this mysterious stuff, and all that sort of idea about the monkey and this and all the rest of it, that I would go beyond what Harvard said. I would say that's really what makes him an interesting brand, because he wasn't just a bloke who picked up a microphone and sung. What's more interesting about him, and what people are fascinated about celebrity brands, is the stuff behind the scenes, the stuff that ordinary people wouldn't do. And that's what makes Michael Jackson's brand Michael Jackson, apart from, in my personal opinion, a fantastic singer.
It sells newspapers. If you play Michael Jackson music, does it get you sort of listeners? Does it boost your listeners?
If people want to hear it, then yeah, of course it will. But if, as we've discussed this already, if people are bored of it, then they'll tune out because they don't want to hear it. And yeah, in the same way we got lots of calls saying play Michael Jackson, we did get a handful of people going, look, we've had enough of Michael Jackson now. They're not the hardcore fans. So we play the hits for the majority. We'll play what they want to hear.
Okay, and $20 million, do you think, Jonathan, finally, do you think that's a conservative figure?
I think that is a conservative figure. They may have literally buried the poor man today, but his brand will keep on living on.
Jonathan, Roberto, thank you very much for joining us, sir.